Welcome to a brand new episode of Dear Ladies Network podcast with Ashley. I am your host, Ashley. It's been a while since we did an episode because things just got busy. I couldn't manage my time so well that I could record and edit an episode because it really takes time also to find the guest and the topic that people can resonate with. But today I just wanted to do a recap of the year since we're at the end of the year. We started this Dear Ladies Network at the beginning of the year in January. I remember our first event. I didn't really have much thought. I did think of where I want to be, but I never thought it will continue up to this far. My motto that I had starting this year was consistency, commitment, and discipline. Those are the three things that will take you far. Once you commit, you need to be consistent in what you're doing. And on those days when you feel like you can't be consistent enough, you need the discipline to make the things that you don't want to do. So, and that's what I had applied in this strategy all this year up till now. I am so grateful of the women that I got to meet through this network. Amazing women, like-minded women, the women that I really wanted to find. So I'm just going to take a step back and describe how this network started. Some of you know it already started as a podcast. It was called the Dear Ladies podcast, where we were just like tackling issues about being an expat woman in the Czech Republic. And then it kind of converted into this network in January. When I first came here from Taiwan, I was pregnant. And it's one thing to be an expat and having difficulty making relationships, but it's another coming in 7 months pregnant, not having an institution behind you that will enable you to make friends easier. What I mean by that is you can have a university, which is what happened with me in Taiwan. I had a university, so it was easier to make friends from class, from school. There were so many international students. And then also you can come because you have a job and it's easier to meet colleagues, go out for drinks, and chances of you meeting people are a lot easier. But when I came in here, I was 7 months pregnant, and it's just like hard because on one end you're just on your third trimester trying to navigate the pregnancy and all that's happening on your body, and on one you are lonely in the house trying to navigate life in Czech Republic, struggling with the language barrier, not to mention that you are trying to find a gynecologist. Since you're in the last trimester, you have to register in your first trimester here in the Czech Republic. So it was just all of that going on around. It's really hard, especially if you are so different like me. Like the first thing that someone sees when they see me, it's my color, my skin color, that I'm black. So I really stand out in this community since it's predominantly white. During all of that, I ended up in postpartum depression. I couldn't breastfeed my baby. I was struggling with that. I was trying to see what you call lactation consultants. And just in all of that mist, I received a call that my sister, she's older than me, that she had passed away. It was very devastating news for me. I had to go back home with my baby. She was 8 months at the time, fly all the way back to South Africa. I came back 1 week later. I received the call that my brother, who was 25 last year, he committed suicide. And the shock that I had, like I had just came back home now. What do you mean? What do you mean he's dead? I just saw him last week. He was totally fine. We laughed. He was okay. And they're like, oh yeah, he hung himself. Obviously I couldn't go back to his funeral because this is not a commute between Europe and Africa. So I didn't even get to see him, to say goodbye. I blamed myself a lot. I know I shouldn't, but I just felt like I didn't ask him, how are you? Like exactly how are you feeling? It was a lot going on. I had a baby, and I was seeing people I haven't seen in a long time, and there was a funeral going on, too many people, you know how these things go, and I never got a chance to have a one-on-one talk with him and ask exactly how are you. I was dealing with my own demons as well. So it took me a really hard time to accept that I learned something, that trauma or whatever dark side that you go into, it can teach you one of two things. You can either give in and go into the deep hole of depression yourself and probably end up dead, or I don't know, like really worse, or you can learn something from it and try to apply it in your life. So, in other words, it makes you stronger to stand for the next things that are gonna come in your life. It's like a phase, and once you pass that phase, then things that you're gonna come afterwards, you will know how to navigate them. And I think that's what happened, because from my postpartum depression of me taking medication, I told myself, you know what, I will stop. First, of course, I had that moment of, yeah, I want to die. I want to join my sisters. I don't know where they are. They are laughing. I was already struggling. And that moment passed, because when you have a baby, it's just really hard, because you live for your baby. All I could think of was my daughter needs me, and she needs me more than ever, because I am that person who's going to guide her in this community that she's growing up into. She's different. She's a mixture of black and white. So she's not white, she's not black, and there's just a lot that comes with that. And she will need that sense of belonging, or that someone who's gonna guide her, that these things happen, and this is how you deal with them. Because as much as she has her family, the white side, they just don't know what things people of color go through, and she needs me for that. And I think that's one of the things that made me persevere even more, because I was like, she's gonna need me. I worry about that a lot, actually. And so yeah, I just continued, and I started this community. I was sitting there feeling sorry for myself, feeling guilty that I didn't talk to my brother. And then I decided, well, maybe there are other women here in Prague who are going through things by themselves, and they need people that can relate to. So I started going to these meetups on Facebook. They have these meetups for expat women. Some of it is like the Gigi Gone Girl Prague International. I don't know. It's called GGI. So it's just like events which you just meet, have coffee, or eat and get to know each other and things like that. But I just felt like I wasn't belonging. I wanted more. I'm a person who likes to learn and grow. And in that space where I was in, I needed something to bring me into the light, to tell me that there is more to than what I'm going through. So I went to these, and well, they are fun if you just need that sort of environment. But all I got was that for the next 2 to 3 hours, all what you're gonna do is ask each other where you're from, how you ended up in Prague, and drink coffee, eat the food, pay 500 or 300 depending how much you ordered. And then if there's a lot of you in the table, you will probably end up talking to the person next to you and not the rest of the table. So the table will have like 5 different conversations, and that didn't work for me. I just felt like there was no structure. I didn't learn anything. I just kept repeating the same conversation over and over again, kind of like when you go on a dating site and you just keep repeating the same information about yourself. So I wanted more, and that's when I decided I need to have women who also want more, women like me, like-minded women, where we're gonna sit down and talk about growth and talk about how we can make ourselves better, learn something new, tackle thought-provoking questions. So I started the Ladies Network with that in mind. We have tackled issues like personal branding, imposter syndrome, learning from failing. Those are personal development questions. And then also professional development questions, like how do you present yourself for a job interview? How do you make your CV look better? How do you get that promotion? How do you deal with imposter syndrome in your workplace? Those kind of topics. And we've also had like social events, fitness boot camps, picnic, the barbecue during Easter holidays, and recently the Christmas party. So those kind of like light events where we just like enjoy and have fun and nothing more to it. I honestly think we have done a lot this year. Incredible women have met other incredible women there. I know that people have made friendships through the Dear Ladies Network. I know people have met business partners. One of the ladies just recently told me at the Christmas party that she and another Dear Ladies Network member are going to join an alliance where they are going to work with each other in doing a program. And business partners were formed. People found their coaches in there. A lot. It's just you go in there with something like, how can I contribute, instead of what can I get from it. I mean, of course, if everyone goes with what can I contribute to this network, then obviously you will get something in return, because the mentality of what do I want to get, it's kind of like you always want to take from other people's cups, but what are you doing to refill that cup? And I always encourage the mentality of what can I contribute in this, so we can all grow together as a unit. Also, had incredible guests who are experts in their field. We've had Mariko, who's been a Hollywood celebrity chef. We've had Maria, who's a fashion stylist. We've had Diana, who's the director of BNI Czechia. We've had Martina Kacherova, who's the real estate lawyer. Like, just women who are making big moves in their careers, women who are pushing boundaries and are trying to get into the glass ceiling. And this is what really makes me happy, when I see women going for what they want and achieving it. I think I got it from my mom. My mom is one of the strongest women that I've ever seen. This line that I hear some women saying is like, oh, I am not a feminist. And I always laugh. I'm like, really? You are not a feminist? Do you know what feminists have done? Like, for you to be able to open a company on your own without a man guiding, being next to you, or for you to be able to drive, or for you to have that position in your company, the top position, for us to have women presidents or sitting in boards of companies, it's because of feminism, because they push this. As a woman, you had no rights. Like, the men had to do everything. It's just that the culture right now have pushed it in such a way that feminism is seen as this bad thing, as this extremist. I don't think everyone who's a feminist is like that. If I earn this much amount at work for doing exactly the same job as you do, then to me that's feminism. It's equality. And I know I'm going into another topic, but yeah, that's the recap for the year. And I just want to say thank you to all the women who believed in me at the beginning of the year, who decided to come on the first event that we've had. It's also incredible to know that, to see that some of the women who came on the very first meeting that I organized were there at the Christmas party, which is the last event of the year, and that is so incredible. Like, uh, I don't know. It's just beautiful to have. I mean, as uh, for me, I think of all the barriers the barriers to my success based on society. By the virtual fact of me being a woman, already my chances are cut in half, because men get all the chances. We all know that. I'm gonna make an example with the study that they did. The same CV sent to the same company for the same job. They added the name to male and the other to female. And the CV for male came back with more callbacks, like they were asking for interviews, than the one for females. And then when it came to salary negotiations, also they promised the CV that belonged to the men, like almost as twice as the one for the women. Same CV. And what I'm trying to say is, as a woman, my chances are already of succeeding are slashed by half if I'm competing in a men's world. And then being a person of color, and not just any person of color, like you are Asian, who, I don't know, they are considered stereotypically as, oh, these are the ones that we want because they work harder and whatnot. But being black and being a woman in a white world, and being able to have white women believe in me, that is the thing that sometimes makes me cry, because it makes me realize that the world isn't as ugly as we make it to be. Not everyone, not everyone is this ugly person. I'm amazed at the fact that these women just believed this a black African girl and came, and they still come. Thank you. Thank you to anyone who has come to the event, to anyone who has come again and again, to the members, to the guests that agreed to come. I don't have words. It's just, you made my life a lot better. You took me out of a dark state, and I saw the light because of you, because you guys believed in me. And you went against the concept or the belief that women tear other women down, because you did not tear me down. You pulled me up. I am here because of you. And I just want to say thank you. As we go to the next year, more things are going to come. And thank you for being with me. And Merry Christmas.